In the quaint coastal town of Misty Harbor, there was a boy named Leo. Leo was unlike most of his classmates, who spent their days playing soccer on the sandy beaches or hanging out at the local arcade. Leo preferred the company of shadows, exploring the eerie remnants of old buildings and wandering the misty shores, where the waves whispered secrets to the sand. From an early age, Leo found himself fascinated by death and what lay beyond. While other kids shied away from the town cemetery, Leo felt drawn to it. He often sat on a weathered bench, watching as families mourned their loved ones. To him, the stillness of the graveyard was calming, a stark contrast to the noise and chaos of the world. As Leo grew older, his curiosity deepened. When he heard about a job opening at the local morgue, he felt a strange excitement. It wasn't a place most people wanted to work, but for Leo, it felt like a calling. After a tense interview, he was hired, and soon he found himself spending more time with the dead than with the living. The morgue was a cold, sterile place, filled with the scent of antiseptic. Leo loved it. He learned to prepare bodies for funerals, clean the floors, and organize the tools. The silence felt like a warm blanket around him, wrapping him in a sense of belonging that he had never felt before. One stormy night, after all the staff had gone home, Leo encountered a new arrival, a young woman named Mia. She had been in a tragic accident, and her body lay on the steel table, covered with a white sheet. Leo felt an inexplicable urge to approach her. He pulled back the sheet and studied her face, which looked peaceful despite the circumstances. Without thinking, he reached out and touched her cold hand. A shiver ran down his spine, and for a moment, he felt a connection that transcended life and death. Leo lay down beside Mia, feeling her stillness envelop him. In that instant, he found a sense of peace he had never known. After that night, Leo's visits to the morgue became a secret part of his life. He would sneak in after hours, lying beside Mia, and feeling the weight of his emotions lift in her presence. He knew it was strange, but he couldn't help it. Each visit deepened his obsession, and soon he craved more than just the quiet company of the dead. Meanwhile, Leo's life took an unexpected turn when he met Clara at school. She was the brightest star in his universe, always laughing, surrounded by friends and full of life. Leo watched her from afar, admiring her kindness and radiant smile. He was captivated, and after weeks of mustering courage, he finally decided to confess his feelings. One sunny afternoon, Leo found Clara sitting alone on a bench, reading a book. His heart raced as he approached her. "Clara," he said softly, "can I talk to you for a moment?" She looked up, her eyes sparkling. "Sure, Leo, what's up?" Taking a deep breath, he blurted out, "I like you, Clara. I really like you. Would you want to go out with me?" Her expression shifted and she hesitated. "Oh, Leo, that's sweet. But I'm not looking for a relationship right now. I'm sorry." Leo's heart sank. He forced a smile, but inside he felt shattered. Clara's rejection echoed in his mind, intensifying his obsession with Mia, who could never say no to him. He returned to the morgue, seeking comfort in the cold embrace of the dead. Weeks passed, and Leo's visits to Mia grew more frequent. Then one day, a terrible tragedy struck Misty Harbor. Clara collapsed at school, and despite the frantic attempts to save her, she was pronounced dead. Leo felt an icy grip of fear and sadness as he learned that Clara's body would be taken to the morgue. The thought of seeing her one last time both thrilled and terrified him. That night, the air was thick with anticipation as Leo snuck into the morgue. He hesitated outside the cold room, his heart pounding in his chest. When he finally entered, there lay Clara, covered by a white sheet. He pulled it back, revealing her familiar face, now peaceful in death. Leo lay down next to her, his heart racing with a mix of emotions: grief, love, and an unsettling thrill. Suddenly, Clara's hand twitched. Leo jumped back in shock, unsure if he was imagining things. Just then, his phone buzzed with a message from Amir, his best friend. "Hey, Leo, I'm coming over. Let's hang out." Panic surged through Leo. He didn't want to share Clara with anyone, not even Amir. In a moment of desperation, he grabbed a heavy object nearby and swung it at Amir as he entered the morgue. Amir fell to the ground, and Leo's heart raced as he realized the terrible mistake he had made. Terrified, Leo dragged Amir's unconscious body outside, hoping no one would discover what had happened. But luck was not on his side. A passerby spotted Amir and called for help. When Amir woke up in the hospital, he told the doctors everything about Leo, the morgue, and the dark secret they shared. The police quickly found Leo at home, trying to act normal. They arrested him, and the shocking truth of his actions came to light in court. He and Amir faced serious charges for their twisted behavior. The town of Misty Harbor was in disbelief, struggling to understand how two boys could be involved in such darkness. While in prison, Leo reflected on the choices he had made. Each day was a reminder of the pain he had caused and the love he had lost. He thought about Clara, the girl who had filled his heart with light, and how he had let his obsession lead him down a dark path. One day, Leo received a letter from Amir, who was also serving time in another facility. Amir wrote about his nightmares, the guilt and fear that haunted him every night, and how he wished they could turn back time. Leo felt the same way, longing for a chance to make things right. As they served their sentences, the two boys began to understand that true freedom comes from within. They started attending counseling sessions, facing their fears, and slowly working to change their lives for the better. Leo often thought about Clara and Mia, realizing that they deserved more than just being part of his dark fantasies. Years passed, and when Leo was finally released from prison, he stepped into the sunlight with a heavy heart, but a clearer mind. He knew he had a long road ahead to rebuild his life and seek forgiveness from the people he had hurt. Back in Misty Harbor, Leo visited Clara's grave. He placed flowers on her headstone, whispering an apology for the pain he had caused and the love he had lost. It was time to honor her memory by living a life that reflected the light she had brought into his world. Leo's journey was a reminder that even in the darkest moments, change is possible. Our choices can shape our paths, but it's never too late to seek a different way. The shadows of the past may linger, but with accountability and a desire to do better, we can step into the light once more. As he walked away from the cemetery, Leo felt a sense of hope. He was determined to make amends, to find a way to live in a world that valued life, love, and the connections that truly matter.